Welcome everyone. Today's video is not just about learning English. It's about completely changing the way your brain works. You see, the biggest reason most people cannot speak fluent English is not because they do not know enough words. It is simply because their brain has not been trained to naturally think in English. Many people deeply understand English. They have studied it hard for many long years. But when it is finally time to open their mouth and speak, they pause. They completely freeze. They desperately try to translate in their head, and then, sadly, they forget everything. If this painful moment happens to you, I want to look at you and tell you something very important. It is not your fault. Your school only taught you how to memorize English for tests. But no one ever taught you how to actually build an English brain. In this video, I will show you exactly how to reprogram your beautiful brain step by step. I will show you how you can finally think in English, speak safely in English, and deeply feel free in English. And yes, this video will also naturally improve your listening, speaking, and vocabulary. So please find a quiet place, listen carefully, playfully repeat the lines you love, and don't forget to generously subscribe to our channel before we begin, because this journey will slowly change your English, and it will deeply change your life. Let us begin with the biggest mistake most people deeply make when learning English. They desperately try to translate everything in their head before speaking. Imagine this simple moment. You just want to say, "I'm going to the store." But instead of saying it directly, your beautiful brain first thinks in your native language, and then it painfully tries to find the English words. By the time you actually start speaking, you feel nervous, slow, and completely unsure. That is the real reason many people understand English but simply cannot speak fluently. You are not thinking in English. You are quietly translating. And translation always creates a heavy delay, deep confusion, and fear. To break completely free, you need to stop translating and start associating. This means your brain should connect English words directly with real meaning, not with words in another language. Think of the simple word apple. You do not need to translate it. Just gently imagine the red, round, sweet fruit right in your mind. That is true association. You connected the English word directly with the beautiful image and meaning of the object. Your brain did not use any slow translation. It understood English naturally. This is exactly how children miraculously learn their first language. They don't use a heavy dictionary, and they don't translate. They simply hear a word, they see the real object, and their open brain connects it directly. That is exactly what you must start doing with English, because this is how true fluency is beautifully built, not through memorizing cold rules, but through real-life connections between your human senses and the English language. If every single word you hear in English is linked to a word in another language, then English will always feel like a heavy second system, not a natural part of you. But if you softly start thinking in bright images, deep feelings, and real things, then your brain will finally begin to accept English as your own natural language. Let us start associating right now. Look gently around you. Pick 5 real objects near you. Now, quietly say their names in English without thinking in your native language. For example, table, phone, window, light, chair. Now softly touch them while saying the word. Feel the real object. See the object. Say the word out loud. You are now building direct sensory connections between real life and English, and this is 100 times more powerful than any translation. This beautiful method also works with your deep emotions. For example, when you feel heavy and tired, don't translate. Just feel the tiredness in your bones and simply say, "I'm tired." If you are happy, say, "I feel happy." Let the true emotion trigger the English sentence directly. If you truly want to speak English fluently, you must stop building bridges between your native language and English. That bridge is painfully slow. That bridge easily breaks under pressure, and you will always feel stuck. Instead, build a beautiful new road in your brain, a direct, peaceful connection between English and your world. Now that you have started associating words with real life, we must talk about the environment around you. Step 2 is to softly surround yourself with English sounds. You see, your beautiful brain becomes exactly what it hears the most. If your brain hears English for just 30 minutes a day, but hears your native language for 15 hours, then of course English will always feel like a heavy foreign language. This is not because you are not smart, and it is not because English is too hard. It is simply because your brain is not surrounded by it. Think back to when you were a little baby. You didn't read, you didn't write, and you certainly didn't study complex grammar, but your incredible brain still learned to speak just by hearing the gentle sounds around you every single day. That is exactly how your first language became so natural. You didn't study it, you simply absorbed it like a soft sponge. Now, to truly learn English in a natural way, you must patiently do the exact same thing. You must feed your brain English every single day, exactly like air. Not just for 10 minutes, and not only during stressful lessons, but all day as much as possible. This is called true immersion. Immersion deeply means surrounding yourself with English, as if you were actually living in an English-speaking country. But the beautiful news is, you don't need to buy a ticket and move to London or New York. You can easily create a mini English world right now in your own quiet bedroom, in your kitchen, or even while you are walking outside. How do we do this? First, make English your gentle background sound. Even when you are not actively studying, let your brain hear English passively, just like relaxing background music. Play an English podcast while doing your laundry, or listen to soft audio while traveling and exercising. Please remember, you don't need to stress and understand every single word. Your brain is quietly and magically absorbing the rhythm, the tone, and the beautiful melody of English. Next, generously use English during your dead time. Dead time equals those quiet, hidden moments when your brain is free, but your hands are busy. For example, while brushing your teeth, cleaning your room, or waiting for your food to slowly cook, these little moments are absolutely perfect for passive listening. And finally, mix deep emotions with your English sounds. The more emotional the sound is, the faster your brain remembers it. That is exactly why you easily remember beautiful songs and funny videos, but not cold textbook definitions. Choose content that makes you laugh, cry, feel deeply curious, or feel inspired. Because when true emotion and sound softly come together, your brain naturally learns 10 times faster. This is how you gently train your mind, not just to learn English, but to truly live inside English. Now that your beautiful brain is gently surrounded by English sounds, we must talk about your voice. Step 3 is to shadow like a parrot, not a student. If your brain is trained, but your mouth is not, you will always feel completely blocked when speaking English. Think about it deeply. You know the word, you understand the sentence, and you hear English every day. But when it is finally your turn to speak, your brain panics, you hesitate, you pause, and you feel painfully stuck. Why does this heavy moment happen? Because your mouth is simply not used to speaking English sounds. And just like any physical skill, speaking deeply needs muscle memory, not just mental understanding. You must beautifully train your mouth and your brain together, exactly like a team. That is where the magical shadowing technique comes in. It is one of the most powerful methods in the entire world for speaking English fluently. Shadowing simply means you listen to a native speaker and you gently repeat exactly what they say immediately out loud. You carefully copy their speed, you copy their pronunciation, and you copy their rhythm and pure emotion, exactly like a mirror. You become a parrot, not a stressed textbook student. You do not translate, you do not write, and you do not overanalyze. You simply copy the beautiful sound instantly with your own voice. Just like a quiet shadow perfectly follows your body, your voice perfectly follows the speaker's voice. This slowly builds automatic speech patterns and gently trains your mouth muscles to move exactly like native speakers. It helps you truly feel the language instead of coldly thinking about rules. But how do you softly practice this? First, choose a short, powerful clip just 30 to 60 seconds. Do not choose a long, exhausting movie. Next, quietly listen 2 or 3 times without speaking at all. Let your ears gently understand the rhythm and the emotion. Then, play the clip again and bravely repeat every single word immediately after you hear it. Please do not pause, do not translate, and do not worry about being perfect. You will make little mistakes, and that is absolutely okay. True fluency is peacefully built through repetition, not perfection. When you gently shadow, you are not studying cold grammar. You are copying the beautiful music of English. Repeat the exact same clip every day for 5 days. Because this gentle repetition slowly creates strong neural pathways in your brain. Your mouth will remember it, and your brain will remember it. You see, parrots do not know any grammar, but they sound incredibly fluent because they simply copy sounds with emotion and rhythm. When you bravely copy like a parrot, you finally stop overthinking. You stop freezing, and you safely start speaking automatically and naturally. So from today, become a loud, beautiful shadow and quietly watch your true fluency explode. Now that you are bravely shadowing and speaking out loud, we must talk about the quiet voice inside your head. Step 4 is deeply powerful. You must use English for your daily thinking. The painful truth is this: you can never speak a language truly, fluently until you deeply think in that language. Many people can read easily, they can write slowly, and they can comfortably understand conversations. But when it comes to actually speaking in real life, they completely freeze. Their tongue feels heavy, and their confidence entirely disappears. Why does this happen? Because their internal thoughts are still safely in their first language, and they are desperately trying to translate every single word in real time while speaking. Trying to translate while speaking is exactly like trying to build a new road while you are driving on it. It is terribly slow, it is deeply painful, and it breaks your confidence every single time. But here's the beautiful solution: you must gently change the language of your thoughts. You see, your mouth simply speaks what your brain already thinks. So if your brain thinks in your native language, your mouth desperately needs extra time to translate, carefully arrange, and then finally speak. And that translation always creates awkward gaps and heavy fear. But imagine this beautiful feeling instead. Your quiet thoughts come in pure English, simple, clear, and completely natural. Your mouth just peacefully follows what your brain is already thinking. That is the magical moment when fluency becomes truly easy. You do not need to think like a brilliant philosopher or a deep poet in English. Just gently start with small, everyday thoughts, the exact ones you already think 1,000 times a day. Simple thoughts like, where is my phone? I need to drink water. What time is it? Or I'm completely hungry. These are simple, real, and already a natural part of your daily life. To build this beautiful habit, start softly whispering or using silent speech. If you are in public, just gently move your lips silently. This perfectly activates the deep connection between your mouth and your brain without anyone even noticing. Look around and softly label everything you see: window, fan, shoes. Describe what you are quietly doing in real time, like I'm opening the fridge or I'm sitting down. Most importantly, deeply add your feelings to these thoughts. English is never just a cold language of information. It is a beautiful language of deep emotion. Tell yourself, I'm nervous, I feel happy today, or I'm proud of my progress. If you gently do this every single day for just 2 to 3 weeks, your beautiful brain will finally stop depending on your native language. It will slowly become the peaceful default language of your inner world, and that is where true fluency quietly begins. Now that your inner thoughts are gently changing, we must talk about your voice when no one else is around. Step 5 is a beautiful, quiet secret. You must softly talk to yourself every single day. You see, you deeply do not need a perfect speaking partner to become truly fluent. You do not need to pack your bags and live in an English-speaking country, and you certainly do not need perfect grammar. What you truly need is the quiet courage to practice speaking English with yourself every single day. This is actually one of the most powerful secrets of confident, fluent English speakers. They beautifully talk to themselves in English all the time. They do this not because they are crazy and not because they are lonely, but because they deeply understand something that most people do not. Your mouth desperately needs real practice, even when absolutely no one is listening. This is not a silly little habit. It is true science, and it is the secret weapon of great language learners, actors, CEOs, athletes, and public speakers. Sadly, most gentle learners wait forever for the perfect moment. They quietly think, I need someone to practice with, or maybe one day I will visit an English-speaking country and someone will kindly help me. But while they patiently wait for this perfect day, their mouth stays completely silent. Their confidence slowly goes down, their progress painfully slows, and they feel deeply stuck. Now gently imagine this beautiful feeling instead. Every day for just 5 quiet minutes, you safely speak out loud in English to yourself. You softly describe your thoughts, tell your own story, express your deep emotions, and respectfully ask yourself questions. You peacefully practice without any fear, without any harsh judgment, and without any heavy pressure of making mistakes. That is exactly how true fluency beautifully grows, and how real transformation quietly begins. You do not need anyone's permission to practice, and you do not need someone else to finally start. You just need 5 minutes of quiet courage every single day. Gently talk to yourself, encourage yourself, and be your own beautiful motivation. And one day, when someone excitedly asks, wow, how did you become so completely fluent? You will gently smile and softly say, I practiced with the one person who was always there for me, myself. Now that you know the beautiful secret of talking to yourself, let us gently bring this into your daily life. It starts the moment you wake up. Start with morning conversations for just 2 minutes. As soon as you wake up, even before brushing your teeth, safely stand in front of the mirror or gently sit on your bed and just say what is truly on your mind. You can softly say, good morning, today is going to be a good day. I feel a little tired, but I'm excited. Ask yourself, what should I do first? Let me stretch my body a little. This small, beautiful habit begins your entire day with pure English energy. You are carefully training your mouth to wake up in English, not just your brain. As you peacefully go through your morning, try to boldly narrate your routine out loud. Speak your quiet actions out loud, exactly like a narrator. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm looking for my shirt. Or, I'm pouring my coffee. This perfectly connects your real life with real English. You are not strictly learning from cold books anymore. You are learning directly from your own beautiful life and your own safe environment. That is absolutely the most natural and powerful learning you will ever do. Next, have deep conversations with yourself. This is exactly where the true magic happens. You instantly become your own speaking partner. You gently ask questions, and then you answer them. Ask, what's my plan today? First, I'll work on my project. Check in with your precious emotions. How do I feel right now? I feel okay, a little tired, but focused. Tell yourself, I want to speak more clearly. I want to stop hesitating. This beautifully builds your ability to respond fast, speak clearly, and feel completely confident. It is exactly like training for a real conversation, but peacefully without needing anyone else. When you need extra strength, boldly use the mirror method. Stand proudly in front of a mirror, look deeply at yourself, and speak exactly like you are talking to a dear friend, a gentle teacher, or the beautiful future version of yourself. Tell that person in the mirror, hey, you're doing better than you think. I know learning English is hard, but look how far you've come. You got this. This emotional method helps you deeply improve your confidence, visually see your body language, and carefully train your mouth muscles. You learn to finally speak with pure emotion, not heavy fear. Finally, as the long day closes, end your day with quiet English reflection. Before safely sleeping, talk to yourself again in English and reflect gently on your day. Ask your tired heart, what happened? What did you learn? You can softly say, today was a little stressful, but I finished my work. I'm proud that I practiced speaking today. I feel good. I'm improving. This perfectly builds your memory, emotional expression, and true fluency, all while peacefully calming your mind before sleep. As you peacefully start this daily journey of speaking to yourself, a fearful question might quietly appear in your mind. What if I make mistakes? I want to look at you and say, good. Mistakes simply mean that you are beautifully growing. You are bravely trying, and you are pushing yourself forward. When you are alone in your room, please remember that absolutely no one is listening. There is no heavy pressure, and there is completely no judgment. When you gently talk to yourself, you can freely repeat as much as you want. You can softly explore your own beautiful vocabulary. You can peacefully pause, Carefully fix your words and bravely try again. You can even playfully experiment with your own tone and speed. This quiet moment is your very own private training room, and in this beautiful, safe room, you are completely free to grow. But what happens on the heavy, tired days? Some days, your precious mind may feel completely empty. Please know that this is perfectly normal. When your mind is quiet, here are simple, gentle prompts you can safely use. You can softly say, "Today I want to carefully talk about murm," or "Right now I'm feeling." You can peacefully share something I beautifully learned recently is, or one thing I'm deeply grateful for today is. You can even take helpful screenshots of these soft prompts and keep them safely near your bed or your desk. Just one simple sentence, a day beautifully becomes 10, and 10 gently becomes true fluency. Soon, you will notice something truly magical happening inside you. You no longer freeze while speaking. You quietly speak faster and much clearer. You finally stop translating in your tired head, and you start to feel deeply more confident in front of others. Your beautiful pronunciation improves automatically, and English starts to feel completely natural. Why does this miracle happen? Because you have finally trained your mouth, not just your brain. Because you have bravely practiced real speaking, not just silent reading. Because now, English safely lives inside your own voice. When you naturally speak your first language, you beautifully have your own voice, your own personality, your own deep emotions, and your own energy. But when it is finally time to softly speak English, most learners suddenly become a completely different version of themselves. They feel less confident, more nervous, quieter, weaker, and deeply afraid of making mistakes. Why does this painful shift happen? Because they are quietly trying to speak English with the exact same heavy mindset as a beginner. Deep inside their gentle hearts, they still do not feel like themselves in English. The beautiful truth is this: until you truly feel like yourself, when gently speaking English, you will never feel completely fluent. Building an English personality is never about being fake. It is not acting, and it is not safely becoming someone else. It is about beautifully becoming the most confident, expressive, and powerful version of yourself. It is the brave version of you who speaks clearly, without fear, who safely makes jokes, freely expresses opinions, and shares deep stories and emotions. You do not need to constantly hesitate or apologize for every single sentence. True fluency is absolutely not about sounding perfect. It is deeply about feeling real, alive, and free. Because true fluency is never just about cold vocabulary or grammar. True fluency is deeply about your identity. If deep inside you still quietly feel, "I am not good enough, I sound stupid, my accent is bad, and people will loudly laugh at me," then your beautiful English will always stay small. But the magical moment you safely start saying, "This is my true voice. I peacefully express myself in English now, and I make mistakes. So what? I sound absolutely real, and I am growing every day." That is the exact moment when everything beautifully changes. You do not just speak English, you become someone in English, and that person is completely unstoppable. How do you gently build this identity? First, softly ask yourself every morning, how would the fluent me beautifully speak today? How would the confident me peacefully express this idea? This gently shifts your deep mindset from, "I am just trying to softly speak English," to, "This is who I proudly am now." Second, bravely speak with your beautiful face and your whole body. Gently smile when you speak. Proudly stand with deep confidence and do not quietly shrink or gently hide. When your physical body is confident, your beautiful brain perfectly follows, and your mouth flows completely easily. Finally, please use pure emotion, not just cold information. English is a deeply emotional language. It is not just what you say, it is beautifully how you say it. Practice safely expressing pure excitement, deep gratitude, gentle humor, and pure joy. You do not deeply need perfect grammar. You just perfectly need real energy. Now that you have beautifully built your English personality, there is one final, powerful step to gently protect your English brain. Step 7 is to peacefully use an English-to-English dictionary. When you safely see a new word, like grateful Most people quickly ask, what does this mean in my language? But here is the heavy problem. The translation is often completely wrong. The true meaning is very shallow, and you painfully stay stuck in translation mode forever. The deep science behind this is simple. When you softly look up an English word in your native language, your brain creates a heavy bridge between two language systems, and every single time you need that word, your beautiful brain has to cross that slow bridge. That makes you feel slow, nervous, and hesitant. But when you bravely look up an English word using only English, you are beautifully building direct brain pathways with absolutely no bridge. You are gently telling your mind that this word safely lives inside your English brain, not in translation, and that makes you fast, confident, and natural. Imagine quietly searching for grateful in an English-to-English dictionary. You softly read, feeling thankful or showing appreciation. Now your mind does not safely translate, it simply and beautifully understands. You stay in English, you think deeply in English, and you calmly build mental connections in English. To do this, gently use beginner-friendly dictionaries like the Oxford Learner's Dictionary or Cambridge Dictionary. Step 2 is to softly read the clear definition slowly, repeat it out loud, and gently try to understand every single word. Then, peacefully read the real-life example sentences so the new word becomes a beautiful picture in your mind. Finally, softly use the word in your own sentence immediately. Because learning a new word is exactly like meeting a new friend. Many people quietly think they need better apps or heavier grammar rules. But what they truly need is to peacefully stop learning English through their first language and beautifully start learning English through English itself. Because the beautiful day you completely stop needing translation is the exact day you become truly fluent. From today, you are no longer just a quiet learner. You are a brave communicator, a deep thinker, a confident speaker, and a beautiful dreamer in English. You deeply do not need to be perfect. You just perfectly need to be present. So gracefully wake up tomorrow and softly ask yourself, what would the fluent version of me safely do today? Then bravely do it, beautifully speak it, and gently live it. And one day, very soon, you will peacefully realize, I don't just know English. I am English me now. That is true fluency. That is deep confidence. That is the real beautiful transformation. If this video gently touched your heart today and helped you feel safe in your English journey, please subscribe to our channel. Write a comment below and tell me what is one simple thought you will try to think in English today.